it's the mutable excitement. There's so many different ways I can look at, oh, this is exciting, I can see it this way, but I don't want to stay too long on this because this is exciting too. Oh, that's exciting too. So there's a tendency to open up to thinking independently and excitingly. But boy, unless the chart's supporting it, how do you ground that? So but it is a search for ideas and to know as many different things as possible. And to be able to adapt and juggle. I'm being an expert at this, I can know the expert at this, I can know about this. It can come at things from very many different directions and different opinions. Self-opinions. Not philosophies, my ideas. Not everybody will agree with them, but I know, I've learned astrology, I know this, I can know other languages. It's going to look for that, find the excitement in that diversity. Doesn't have to see the extreme negative with the Uranus in these categories, because you're just looking at the attitude you have to that. When we see it into the houses and we see the aspects, we start seeing this, where this energy is being directed down into your life, we see it more clearly. But these outer planets, they have their presence, but they're not easily seeable. They show themselves in between the lines or underneath the surface. So when Uranus is in the water signs are emotional. They're sensuous, they're emotional, they're very sympathetic, moody, and very judgmental. They take everything personally. So what happens when you put Uranus in a water sign? It's going to excite that taking everything personally. I'm going to take everything personally. I'm seeing it so different, and it's going to often show up as an anxiety. Oh, I see this. I'm seeing this. This is there. Oh, I'm feeling this is a threat. This is insecurity. This is exciting. I got to go for this. I got to go for this. Or, oh my goodness, this is going to change things. So it creates an anxiety inside the water, which can be really creative in imagination ways of emotionally imagining and breaking through new ways of expressing feelings. But it still shocks the feelings and destabilizes them. So it doesn't allow them to settle and dull, just like the water freezes or something happens rather than melts and flows down. You know, if you put an electric cord into a pool of water, it can kill everybody in the water. It'll carry the current, it'll carry the electricity. So anxiety, the negative Uranus, the anxiety, can stifle the trust and the emotional sharing between people, and can make someone feel disconnected from their own feelings. But at this very same time, they'll have one, two, or three, depending which one it is, they'll still have certain emotional places that they're excited about. They may not see that that very excitement is causing the anxiety that they have. Because it's for 7 years, you can't just say it just means anxiety, but you'll see a general trend of this around in that generation. In Cancer, it's around anxiety around mom, or breaking away from mom, or security, trying to be free from home, and mom live differently than the way you're brought up, and trying to get rid of the judgments. So let me out of here. You know, but then when you have a kid, it's, I want to smother my kids. I don't want my kid to be free. I don't want my kid to be independent. Oh, they could be anywhere. Oh my goodness, it can flip around. When Uranus is in Scorpio, it's about trust. We're trusting on the deepest level. We're trusting our most exciting, independent freedom. We're trusting it. And you expect it to stay there forever. But if someone breaks the trust, it's going to be a big shock. And how could I ever trust again? Or I'll be anxious whenever anyone tries to get close again. So usually the water has to build up intensity and build up. And when finally it builds up, a trust can come out in a very special way. But if it gets rejected, that rejection goes in very deep. So this can often be put into individual creativity and expression in a unique way, where their emotions are being channeled in a unique way that wouldn't be, they had to go somewhere, had to go in some expression. So it's just going to excite and destabilize. But again, that destabilize doesn't mean you can't achieve something really brilliant with it. It's just you could achieve something great and still be insecure about it, and still feel not secure about it. So there's a need to do something independent in Scorpio, but there's also a need to have a commitment to someone else to do it with. See, a person might marry the photographer or the designer rather than be it. They have the excitement, but so the challenge is, with the whole chart, you're trying to personalize each thing and make it your own personal experiences. And when you do, it all come to life. But everyone will have these, wherever Uranus is, you have the excitement and the anxiety. It's not picking on any one sign more than another. It's just, this is processing irrationally and emotionally. And the water signs can over smother, or they can pull into themselves so deeply you can't reach them. They can brood, and they can fester on things. So they can fester on that excitement until they finally get it done, or they can fester on it until they so alienated for everyone else. They can be worrying so much. So the tendency is Uranus is more inclined to worry in the water signs than to break through. How do you break through water? So in the mutable water of Pisces, this is the sign of social consciousness, of morality, of principles, of kindness. And Uranus, it's going to be kind in unconventional ways. It's going to try and always help the radical person, or align with the radical, be doing something for the radical person, or some unconventional scenario. And there might be a tendency to avoid people that aren't in need, but you could believe in people and believe in the independence of people, and yet many people may not live up to their independence, and because you're involved with them, you may not live up to your own. But it does imply the tendency to go towards radical groups or situations where you're helping a cause or helping other people in radical ways, or exciting new ways. And you're trying to be a leader doing that, or being involved in that. Like someone may go and try and be part of a fundraiser for poor people in Africa, or for, in different places. Something could come up where you're fighting a cause and you find your independence from being involved with others and helping others. But if you're trying to help people that are exciting, you'd be trying to help someone, they just want to do it themselves, you're going to have complication, you're going to have rejection, because they're not accepting your dedication. They're exciting, but they're not accepting your dedication. You're giving everything. And the least they could do is do this. Again, that's the anxiety side around the excitement side. When you put it into the earth signs, you have the down-to-earth practicalness. So what's Uranus going to do in the earth signs? It's going to make the practicalness more exciting and perhaps a little less practical, more eccentric. So Uranus and Taurus are going to incline to bring out exciting, it's feminine, it's reflective, it's earth. It's wearing something shocking, it's taking something exciting, it's having that tattoo, it's getting independent things for myself. I gotta have this, or I gotta have this collection of things, or what? And it might collect like that. So it's trying to stabilize the exciting things, but there'll be some level of excitement it's trying to collect, whether it's art or whatever, or money or whatever, but it's gonna have its own independent way of trying to get it. And because it's so independent, it's gonna be fixed now. It's not gonna be so inclined to follow other people's independence. It's trying to get for itself. In the Capricorn, again, it's driving. It's the cardinal earth. I gotta have my own business. I'm gonna work with other people. I know what to do, but I gotta do it myself. So you want to have the independent responsibilities to run the things yourself. Still gonna have the Capricorn energy, but you want to do it a little bit more independently, and you have your own independent style on it. So. And in Virgo, it's going to be the practical. Virgo's always trying to fix things and improve things. Health, work, job, they're trying to Mr. Fix-Its or Miss Fix-Its. But the Uranus there is going to make it eccentric. They're going to have to be a specialist in some unique area, and they can do one or two things really specially. And they'll do that, whether that fits into everyone else or whether they can get work at it or not is another thing. The Uranus, in each case, is slightly destabilizing the earth element, but adding an innovative side to it, wanting to be a little bit more innovative. So a lot of the teaching here is really you have to approach each planet as a different being, as a different energy. You can't, like, we've taken we have a whole different texture related to the moon or Mercury or Venus or Mars or Jupiter or the sun. We have a different whole, when we're getting to these other planets, it's another frequency altogether that we're relating to this on. It's not becoming so personal. It's almost outside things and how we relate to them and how they affect us. But it has the seeds of genius in it, of breakthrough, of innovativeness, of making something different. But there's always a cost. The more different you are, the more alone you're going to be. Right? So the anxiety about not wanting to be alone and or having to be independent, this is part of this puzzle of the Uranus factor. So the planetary rulerships are the leading edge, is how you guide this. Uranus in Cancer is going to need excitement around personal security, around the home, around mom. It's going to try and break away from the home, or I could bring up my kid myself, or I could have the independent point of having home, or you're worried about security, but you're trying to find independent Uranus security moon. I need to nurture myself. I need to be nurtured myself. Don't tell me how to live. I want to live my own way. I want to have my own habits. And you can see how you break away from a family like that, but then when you try and get married and have your own security, that would be hard for someone to put up with. That would be high maintenance to put up with someone who only sees their own security and what they need, not necessarily what you need. So it's anxiety around home, family, mother, security. So Uranus in the security house creates an anxiety about security or about not getting what you need for yourself. So some people can get locked in anxiety complex for many years, and the solution is to actually try and get out of the shyness or the reservedness, to collect some other hobby or something that's a little exciting without threatening all the other things. But the inclination is it would be easy to sell insurance to someone with Uranus in Cancer because they're naturally insecure. Okay, when you put it in Leo, Uranus is going to be ruled by the sun. So confidence, pride, self-esteem, it's going to be excited. I want to be really special. I'm going to do something special to really get, I've done this really differently. Here I am, I'm different than everybody. Don't you love it? Not everybody's, I mean, it's going to magnify the fire and it's going to project it more. It's sometimes hard enough to put up with the Leos in the first place, taking the lead all the time. At the same time, how can a Leo have a fault when they're almost the best there can be? You know, so it increases the playful. I mean, you could have a perfect gamer that's the best gamer in the world with Uranus, and or their kids have to go to a special school or be pushing their kids to be the best, and they know exactly how it's going, but then they would have trouble when it's time to let go of the kids when they grow up. So the excitement through kids, grandkids, home, being creative, it's usually a noble excitement in Leo to be best at something. There's a competitive element. Uranus will come in, and it really links up to the sun. So depending how confident you are, how well you're living in touch with your heart, it's going to have an effect. That's going to affect how you can use Uranus, or whether it's going to be positive or negative. You have to guide it by confidence by your sun. Okay. When you get to Mercury in Gemini or Virgo, it's both the mental phases. Uranus is creating the free thinking of Gemini. It's ruled by the mind, so it's the need to get unique, special information, to know the best of things, to get the most exciting ideas, and to be in touch with a pulse of knowledge, like media people, newscasters, writers, people, rappers. You have this need to communicate with ideas and to break through and make something unique with ideas. Wow, that's the Uranus in Gemini, but don't tell me how what's normal or what has to fit in. When Uranus is Virgo, it's always it's the discriminating ideas, whereas Gemini is free, and Uranus in Virgo, I got to find independent skills, but I really got to know what I'm doing, so I really got to learn how to be best at something or do something really special, or a couple of things really special, and it's always trying to improve in its mind, but it's looking for the excellence. Anything less than excellence is going to be boredom and cause an anxiety or depression around it. And it could make both of these signs, because Uranus is there, they could always talk themselves out of a job if they don't like this job. Who needs this? I'll do something else.